वरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरा वनचारी यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवारधारी यमुना यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरा वनचारी कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama जय राधा गोविंद देवा गोविंद देवा जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा Premanande. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, text 47. 47 or 48? 48. 47? Which is 47, yes. Tustavor Munayo Rishtaha Krishnam Tadguhyaha Namabihi Tataste Krishna Hridayaha Swasraman Prayuhu Punaha Tustavor Munayorista Krishnam Tadguyanamabihi Tataste Krishna Hridaya Swasraman Prayu Punaha Tustavor Munayorista Krishnam Tadguyanamabihi Tataste Krishna Hridaya Swasraman Prayu Punaha Tustavor Munayorishta Krishnam Tadguyanamabihi Tataste Krishna Hridaya Swasraman Prayuhu Punaha Tustavuhu satisfied. Munayaha, the great sages headed by Vyasadev, etc. Rishtaha, all in a happy mood. Krishnam, unto Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Tat, his. Guhya, confidential. Namabhihi, by his holy name. Tataha, thereafter. Te, they. Krishna Hridayaha, persons who have always bear Lord Krishna in their hearts. Swa ashraman, to their respective hermitages. Prayayuhu, returned. Punaha, again. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All the great sages then glorified Lord Krishna, who was present there by confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. Purport. The devotees of the Lord are always in the heart of the Lord, and the Lord is always in the heart of the devotees. That is the sweet relation between the Lord and His devotees. Due to the unalloyed love and devotion for the Lord, The devotees always see them within themselves, and the Lord also, although he has nothing to do and nothing to aspire to, and is always busy in attending to the welfare of his devotees. For the ordinary living beings, the law of nature is there for all actions and reactions, but he is always anxious to put his devotees on the right path. The devotees, therefore, are under the direct care of the Lord, and the Lord also voluntarily puts himself under the care of his devotees only. So, all the sages headed by Vyasadeva were devotees of the Lord, and therefore they chanted the Vedic hymns after the funeral ceremony just to please Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15. All the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, etc. are seeking him only, and all hymns are for glorifying him only. The sages therefore performed the exact acts suitable for the purpose, and they happily departed for their respective hermitages. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सगनललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरतुषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So we welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class at Shri Radha Govind Dev Temple in the beautiful colony of Vaikuntha. So we are reading from the first canto, 9th chapter, verse number 47, where Bhishma Dev, one of the 12 Mahajans, Mahajan means great personalities. So there are 12 of them, and Bhishma Dev is one of the 12 Mahajans. So his departure is almost, coming now, having, taught Yudhishthir Maharaj, and the Pandavas about various aspects of knowledge. Now it is time for him to pass away, and so this verse comes after that verse where he has just passed away. So here the sages are glorifying Lord Krishna, and through the hymns, Vedic hymns, and they return back to their respective homes. Human life is meant for tapasya, it is meant for self-realization. Om apavitro va pavitro va sarvavastham gatopiya yas smaret pundrikaksham na sabhaya abhayantara suchi. Whether one is pure or whether one is impure, one should remember the lotus-eyed Krishna, Pundarikaksham, one whose eyes are like lotus. कितने लोगों के आईज लोटस जैसे हैं? बहुत, हाँ, इनफैक्ट किसी के भी नहीं, सिर्फ भगवान के हैं. For a boyfriend, his girlfriend's eyes may be like lotus for some time. After that, they become red with fire. So, one should remember the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. And why? Because that is the only way for purification. Bhaya abhayantara suchi. One becomes externally and one becomes internally clean or pure. So this verse, Srila Prabhupada talks about the devotees are there in Krishna's heart and Krishna is there in devotees' heart. So a very beautiful verse comes from the 9th canto, which says that aham bhakta paradhino hi avasantantra iva dvija sadhubir grasta hridayo bhaktair bhakta jana priya. The devotees are always in my heart and I am always in the heart of the devotees. The devotees does not know anything beyond me, and I also cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me and the pure devotees. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch, and therefore they are very dear to me. So here this translation speaks about pure devotees. And Bhishma Pitamaha was one such pure devotee who, when the time came to remember the Lord, he at once gave up everything and remembered the Lord. So that is not easy, and therefore one has to understand what is the difference between a pure devotee, that is a Nitya Siddha, and a Baddha Jiva. A Nitya Siddha is eternally pure and free from illusion. Apparently it may appear that he is going through some tough time, but the litmus test is whether how much shelter does that the devotee take to the Supreme Lord. Whereas the Baddha Jeev is bound by Maya Shakti, it is trapped in this material world. We are all Baddha Jiva, conditioned souls. When we come in association of devotees, we become devotee. So therefore, for us, sadhu sanga, sarva shastra koy, lava matra sadhu sanga, sarva siddhi hoy. For us, we need to be constantly associating with devotees. Why? Because it makes us remember Krishna and makes us remember our relationship with the Supreme Lord. भगवान कौन है और हमारा भगवान से क्या रिलेशन है, हम भक्तों के संग में ही जान सकते हैं. मंदिर आना, भगवान का दर्शन लेना, ये अच्छी बात है, लेकिन भगवान के बारे में समझना और भगवान को के बारे में सुनना, ये बहुत आवश्यक है. श्रवण करना बहुत आवश्यक है, और स्पेशली भक्तों के संग में. फिर उस only at that time that we will be able to overcome the energy of the Lord. Maya is Krishna's own energy, and because we are in between, trapped in between the spiritual and the material energy, we have the option to go up or go down. And generally, if you see, walking down the stairs is more easy than climbing the stairs. Correct? No? After you are 45, the best exercise they tell is to climb the stairs, despite having a lift. So therefore, you should not buy flats in very high floors. You will not be able to climb 15 floors, 20 floors. Piramal has 25, 30 floors, 35 floors. By the time you reach the 35th floor, you may end up having a heart attack. So, best is 4-5 floors. So they say that those who are suffering from diabetes should climb the stairs, because it is against gravity. So anything against the forces of material nature is not easy. The entire material energy is pushing us towards not remembering the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So all our endeavors in spiritual life is against the tide. So therefore, when we are together in association, the conditioned soul, it becomes easy for the conditioned soul to practice bhakti. The Nitya Siddha resides in the spiritual realm and comes down only when the Lord desires to. अपने आप सोच के नहीं आता है, चलो मेरे को बहुत बोर हो गया इधर, मैं थोड़ा नीचे जाके टाइम पास करके आता हूँ. So when the Lord comes to the material world, only then, if the Lord wants, then the Nitya Siddha comes. Whereas the Baddha Jeev goes up and down in 14 planetary systems. We can reach up to Satyaloka, but then you will have to manage the entire cosmos. Our Adi Gopal Prabhu knows how difficult it is to manage one small temple here. If you think that you are a good manager and if you want to become Brahma, then you are welcome. But you will have to do 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. We can't do what? Simple cheese like Nirjal Ekadashi. First thing, a bad sadhaka, looks at Vaishnav calendar and sees when is Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi. Is it a Sunday or a working day? If it is Sunday, then he breathes a sigh of relief. If it is a working day, then he does not like it. I know many devotees who still don't like to follow Ekadashi, but they do. So it's not easy. To do even small tapasya in this material world is not easy, and therefore we are Nitya Baddha or Baddha Jeev. A Nitya Siddha is not affected by karma or reactions, whereas we are subjected to karma and all its reactions. The Nitya Siddha is eternally liberated and under the direct shelter of the Lord, whereas a Baddha Jeev can be liberated by the process of sadhana bhakti, अथौ श्रद्धा तथा साधु संग तथा भजन क्रिया तथा अनर्थ निवृत्ति स्यात्, तथा निष्ठा तथा आसक्ति तथा भाव and tata prem. So these 8 or 9 steps of gradual elevation to the highest realm of prem starts with little faith and then association. So by sadhana bhakti and through the mercy of the spiritual master, one can become a pure devotee. So, having understood the concept of Nitya Siddha and Baddha Jeev, we go back a little bit, because this verse comes in the last, one of the last verses of this chapter. I thought it will be good to summarize Bhishma Dev and what do we learn from his personality, his life, and what did he briefly teach? What did he teach Yudhishthir Maharaj? We can try to understand briefly. So all of you know Bhishma Dev's background, that his father was a great king of the Kuru dynasty, Hastinapur, and his name was Shantanu, and he married Ganga, who was sent to the earth by Lord Brahma due to one curse as human beings. So when they were in Satyaloka, Mother Ganga committed a small offense and she was sent to the earth planet as a normal human being. And Shantanu was also present in that Satyaloka. His name was Mahabhishek, and he came down as Shantanu. So as soon as he saw Ganga, his feelings for Ganga arose, and he did Gandharva Viha with Ganga. But she said, I will marry you on one condition, that the sons born to us, you should not question what I do with them. So like that, 7 sons were born, and one by one Ganga was drowning them in the water. उनको समुद्र नदी में गंगा में डुबा रही थी. तो जब 8वां सन हुआ, तो उसका नाम रखा था देवव्रत. उसको उन्होंने डुबाया नहीं. वो आने से पहले शांतनु ने अपना क्यूरियोसिटी छोड़ नहीं पाई. उन्होंने गंगा को पूछा कि ये आप क्यों ऐसे कर रहे हो? Why are you doing this? It is very painful. So she said, since you have broken your promise, I will not be able to stay with you, but the 8th son will stay with you. And his name was Devavrat. So what is the reason Ganga was putting them in, drowning them in the river? Nothing happens without a chance in this world. So for everything, whatever happens for a reason. So it is said that these 7 sons were previously Vasus, who had cursed by Vashishta Muni for stealing their cow. And the main leader of that Vasus was Devavrat. So when the Vasus pleaded, forgiveness, Vashishta said, only Devavrat because he was the main culprit. The rest of the seven will go back, to their respective places. Devvrat will remain in the earth planet. And once he finishes his life, he'll go back to the upper, or the spiritual world. So Devvrat continues to remain in this world, but he gets trained by the great sages in various aspects of knowledge, and he is returned to Shantanu when the time is right. So there are 8 Vasus: Apa, Dhruva, Soma, Dhara, Anila, Anala, Pratyusha, and Prabhas. They represent the elements of nature. Apa represents water, Dhruva represents pole star, Soma represents moon, Dhara represents the earth, Anila represents the wind, Anala represents fire, Pratyusha represents dawn, and Prabhasa represents light. So soon, once Devvrat was, as he was growing up into a young prince, his father Shantanu again fell into a infatuation trap. And this time he came across a beautiful lady called Satyavati, who was actually the daughter of a fisherman by the name Dasharaj. And she had a very beautiful bodily fragrance, musk fragrance. मस्क डियर होता है ना, मस्क डियर, उसके जो हॉर्न से बना हुआ फ्रेग्रेंस, मस्क. So now he got attached to Satyavati and wanted to marry her, but her father put a condition again, that this is what happens when you get over infatuated with somebody, you end up in many conditions. There is no unconditional love in this material world. Everything is conditional love. Conditioned living beings, conditional love. Supreme Lord is unconditional. So we have to look for the right source of love. So his father said, you can marry Satyavati on one condition, that the son of Satyavati will become the heir to the throne. Now Shantanu immediately agreed, but then he wanted to agree, but his problem was Devvrat, was his eldest son. So he was lost in his thoughts, he was not doing his kingly duties, and he was staying away from the palace in his own room. And when Devvrat saw this, he asked, without asking, he came to know about this, and without asking, he went to the fisherman's house and told the fisherman that my father is not taking a decision because of me, and therefore I take a vow today that I will not marry and I will remain brahmachari throughout my life. And in those days, such a vow was very difficult to take, because the kings are expected to marry as many queens as possible and raise high quality Kshatriya children. But because he wanted to fulfill his father's wish, as a dutiful son, he took this vow. And as soon as he took this vow, the Devatas showered flowers on him, and because that was a Bhishma Pratigya, his name became Bhishma. Bhishma means fearful or terrible. So, pleased with his son, Shantanu gave his son a special boon, and that was Ichhamrityu Vardhan. Very few or very rare people have that he could decide when he wants to die. How many of you would like to have this Vardhan? He wants to raise, but he's shy. He wants to eternally serve in Radha Govinda Dev temple. Hari Bol. So, so the lineage continued, and the sons of, in fact, Satyavati also had another, marriage, a hidden marriage with Parashar Muni. And once she was a boat keeper, so she used to row the people from one bank to another bank. And once she was taking Parashar Muni, and Parashar Muni, seeing her beauty, fell for her and decided to marry her. And he said that you will still remain a virgin, and the son born to you will be the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Recently we celebrated Guru Purnima. And that personality who represents the Supreme, the Guru for everybody, is Vyasadeva. The seat which we are sitting is Vyasasana. We represent the Supreme Lord in his literary incarnation as Vyasadeva. So Vyas was born to Satyavati and Parashar Muni, and in fact Parashar Muni is the personality who gave the definition of Bhagavan, the personality who has 6 Bhaga, opulences. So when Satyavati bore 2 children from Shantanu, Vichitravir and Chitrangda was killed by another Gandharva of the same name. That Gandharva was very egoistic. Said, दूसरा आदमी मेरा नाम क्या कैसे हो सकता है? उसको मार दिया. And Vichitravira became the king, but he could not have children because his 2 queens, Ambika and Ambalika, could not bear children. So at that time Satyavati called up Vyasadeva, and through Vyasadeva, Ambika bore Dhritarashtra and Ambalika bore Pandu. That's how the 2 lineage got separated. One became Kuru and one became Pandavas. So this is what the history. Now during the war, Bhishma Dev had to endure a lot of pain while fighting the Pandavas. And despite that, throughout his life, he maintained his commitment to Hastinapur. He did not give up his duty. And even that meant fighting against Lord Krishna. So some of his teachings, which we would like to see here, is there are primarily 9 teachings which says one should not become angry. We all know that anger is one step away from danger. One should not lie. As much as possible, one should remain truthful. One should distribute wealth equally, which means, Rupa Goswami gave the principle of, distributing 50% to charitable organizations, 25% for our family, and 25% for emergency. This is the formula he gave. And to forgive, it is said one should always forgive what bad others have done to you, and one should forget what good you have done to others. Correct, no? Forgive what bad others have done to you and forget what good you have done to others. So this is the principle which we should always remember. One should beget children by one's legitimate wife. So we also have that no illicit sex as one of our regulations. To be pure in mind and hygienic in body. this can be achieved by following the 4 rules and regulations: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and association, reading spiritual books, chanting the holy name, and Krishna conscious diet. ABCD. One should be simple. Simplicity is that quality which attracts the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Very important quality one should have. Maharaj once said, simplicity means no duplicity. That's the best definition of simplicity. And one should support, one's servants or subordinates. So one should always guide, once you are experienced in any field, whether it is corporate world or your spiritual life, family life, one should always share the knowledge which you have with others, support them with food, money, good advice, whatever is possible, as per your capabilities. In one of the purports of this chapter, Srila Prabhupada writes this beautiful line. He says, a pure devotee of the Lord is always in dilemma because of the dual nature of his existence. So a pure devotee, when he comes to this world, he has to act in such a way that others don't know that he is a pure devotee. When a Baddha Jeev does the reverse, he wants to show that he is a pure devotee and he does not want to show that he is a Baddha Jeev. Correct, no? We all have that tendency. He always seeks to please the Lord, but at the same time cannot disregard his obligations in the material world. So these 2 lines fits Bhishma Dev very beautifully. He never showed that he is a great personality or is a great devotee. He always knew Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Always he used to call Krishna as Madhusudana. Oh Madhusudana. But at the same time, he did not give up his duty of protecting Hastinapur. If you are a critic of Bhishma Dev, one thing which you can always say, that why did he allow the Draupadi Vastraharan? Which this was even in my mind many times. But at the same time, you look from the other perspective of the Lord's pastime. If he had objected and he had stopped it, which he could have just forcefully taken his sword and stopped Dushasan. But he knew, he had full faith in the Lord that the devotees of the Lord will always be protected by the Lord. And therefore, when Krishna took the form of a sari to protect Draupadi, he was very aware that Krishna will do something like that. So as grihasthas or as family men in this world, we all have to perform our duties with this principle or with keeping Bhishma Dev in mind. We need to perform our worldly duties and responsibilities, but always keep Krishna at the center of our life. There are many rules and regulations in this world, but the topmost rule is always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. This is the topmost principle, and all other principles become subservient to this principle. Kinkaraha, they become servant of this principle. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So one should develop that faith that, in Krishna's plan. If we should plan, but we may have plan A, plan B, plan C, but ultimately everything happens by Krishna's will. One should have faith in this statement. one should learn to balance our material duties and responsibilities along with our spiritual aspirations. Especially if you are going to become a grihastha. If you are a family man, one should not give up his duties till the end. One should understand the power of vows, pratigya, and the importance of keeping them. One should appreciate the value of spiritual wisdom and the need to seek from realized souls. So, if you are in difficulty, if you are in doubt, always take guidance from devotees who have gone through that process. Take guidance of the scriptures. Look into the Srimad Bhagavatam for examples. You will find many. So yes, difficulties will come, obstacles will come. We will face various types of obstacles, difficulties in life, our health problems, family problems, jobs, financial problems. But if we keep the Supreme Lord in the center, take guidance, it doesn't mean that one should not take guidance. One should take guidance from experienced people. If you are having a marriage problem, go to a marriage counselor. If you are having a financial problem, go to a financial counselor. There are experts in every field. One should not think that everything Supreme Lord will take care, and do nothing. One should, do your best and leave the rest to the Supreme Lord. So that is very important. If you see Bhishma's life, there is this story of these 5 arrows. When Arjuna, on the 10th day, Bhishma, in the initial few days, the Pandavas were, having the upper hand. And Duryodhan, despite making Bhishma as the commander-in-chief, was seeing that, his men are dying. The count is increasing. So he went to Bhishma and in a very sarcastic way he started, accusing Bhishma of not, fighting to his best of capacity. So Bhishma said, I am an old man, you are blaming me for the problems which you have created, but still, I have these 5 arrows with me and I have designated them one by one to kill the 5 Pandavas. You keep these arrows with you, because you may not trust me. You keep these arrows, when the time is right, I will take from you. So of course, Krishna, being the Paramatma in everybody's heart, he knew and he sent Arjuna to take those 5 arrows from Duryodhan. And Duryodhan, because of his, promise that when you need my help, I will support you. Because Arjuna had protected Duryodhan from the Gandharvas on the 13th year. So Arjuna went, took those 5 arrows, and next day Bhishma asked Arjuna, give me those 5 arrows. And Arjuna said, I have given it to Arjuna. Duryodhan said, I have given it to Arjuna. So Bhishma immediately knew that it was Krishna who had foiled his plan, and he was laughing. So this again shows that how Bhishma surrendered to the will of Krishna. He made Krishna break his vow. What was the vow Krishna took? That I will never take up a weapon in the war. Duryodhan in fact took away his Vrishni Sena. But Arjuna asked for Krishna as the charioteer. So, on the 10th day, Bhishma was fighting so fiercely and nobody could do anything. Arjuna tried his best, could not do anything. So Bhishma made Krishna, he in fact injured Krishna through his arrows, destroyed Arjuna's chariot, and both Arjuna and Krishna were on the feet, on the ground. That time, Krishna realized that now it is too much, I have to take the matter in my own hands. And he grabbed the wheel and he started, running towards Krishna with the wheel in hand. And this picture, this scene, Bhishma Dev really enjoyed. He said, I have made you, O Madhusudana, where is your promise? You have given up your promise to protect Arjuna. So indirectly he was glorifying Bhishma. The Supreme Lord breaks his own promise to protect Arjuna, and this made Bhishma very happy. And he said, I have served you in Shauryaras, and I made you break your own promise. I welcome death at your hands, O Keshava. And this scene, which you must have all seen, the photograph of Bhishma welcoming Sri Krishna with the wheel in hand. So Bhishma gave an example of art of dying. Srila Prabhupada said, ISKCON is a movement which shows art of dying. It is not art of living, it is art of dying. है ना? कितनी बार हम लोग सुनते हैं कि हरे कृष्णा मंत्र जप कीजिए, अच्छी तरह से जप कीजिए. ये क्यों बोलते हैं? क्योंकि अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरण मुक्त्वा कलेवरम यह प्रायाति समद्भाव याति नास्ति अत्र संशय. One who remembers me at the time of death will only come back to me. And therefore, the entire Bhagavad Gita was spoken not to make Arjuna not to fight, but to make Arjuna fight. Fight with remembering me. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhya cha. Mai arpito mano buddhi. Surrender your mind, intelligence. Mam evaishyashi asamshaya. Without fail, you will come back to me. So therefore, in order to make Krishna's thoughts always in our mind, one should be constantly connected with 4 aspects. Naam Seva, chanting the holy name, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We all chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Srila Prabhupada once said that if you were disciples of my Guru Maharaj, you would have all been required to chant how many rounds? 64 rounds. So Srila Prabhupada compressed, being an Acharya, he compressed it to 16 rounds, which takes approximately 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So Naam Seva is very important. Daily, there is no holiday for Naam Seva. In fact, on Ekadashi, you have to chant extra to make up for the bad rounds which you do on normal days. And one should perform seva of Archa Vigraha, form, worship the form of the Lord, Archa Vigraha Seva. As family men, either at home or one should try and serve in the temple. Read Srimad Bhagavatam and scriptures, Leela Smaran. One should come for Bhagavatam class or read Srila Prabhupada's books or hear. Today, somebody questioned. There was one girl who became a model recently. I don't know her name. She was asked whether artificial intelligence is good or bad. So her reply was that artificial intelligence should be used to enhance human values, and it should not take away the sentiment of developing relationship between two people or between individuals. So similarly, we have all the facilities, YouTube online, this, that, Zoom, whatever. Use technology for spiritual understanding. So here, Srimad Bhagavatam, and most important, what you hear you just tell others. Simple. It is important that once I was traveling to Nasik with His Grace Paramans Prabhu, and at Kalyan we were going from Thane to Nasik. Those days we had a center in our Louis Wadi, Thane. So at Kalyan one boy boarded the train, and all you youngsters know, when somebody comes and sits with you and you are chanting, so that person will definitely ask, "Aap kya kar rahe hain? What are you doing?" So that was the indication for the key of Prachar to start. From Kalyan till Nasik, I did not leave him. I kept on, whatever I heard in 3 years or 2.5 years, I gave it everything to him. So at the end, Paramans Hotel, छोड़ दो यार उसको, कितना बोलोगे तुम? I said, प्रभु जी जितना मुझे मालूम था मैंने सब बोल दिया, अभी उसके ऊपर है उसको लेना है या नहीं लेना है ना? So this should be our enthusiasm. I mean, this is just this is probably in the enthusiasm of everybody who comes to Krishna consciousness. We want to tell everything to everybody at the first instance. उसको पहले ही बार में प्योर डिवोटी बनाना है, हम बने या नहीं बने. So one should always have this desire to give Krishna to others, and that is the most pleasing to the Lord. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, one who gives this message to others is most dear to me. So in the mood of Bhishma Dev, we should practice spiritual life, fulfilling our roles and responsibilities in this material world, but at the same time preparing ourselves. Life is a preparation and death is the examination. So we need to prepare our life, and it's very short. All of you must be thinking, I am 25, 26, ahani ahani bhutani gacchanti amalayam shesha sthavara icchanti kim ascharya mata param. Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked, what is the most wonderful thing in this world? And he said, ahani ahani bhutani gacchanti amalayam. You are seeing every day that somebody is dying and going back to Yamalayam. Shesha sthavara icchanti. Remaining of those who are remaining, what is their ichha? They think that I will not die. Mera samay aana baki hai. Kim ascharya mata param. What is more surprising or bewildering or astonishing than this? So we should be getting prepared on a daily basis. Death can come any time. We don't have Ichha Mrityu Vardhan like Bhishma Dev. So one of the ways of chanting your rounds nicely is think that this is your last round. हर राउंड को सोचिए कि ये मेरा आखिरी राउंड हो सकता है, and you chant with that enthusiasm. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If there is any question or comment, we can take one question. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री राधा गोविंद देव की जय. हरे कृष्ण.